Let's see what happens when you try to make a video when you've been awake for 24 hours. So here we go. This week we're talking about medical things. We're talking about doctor's visits and the gynecologist. Trigger warning for anybody who doesn't want to hear about parts, because we're going to talk about some parts. I'm not going to call them anything, but the vague concept of parts will be discussed in this video. How do I feel about doctor's visits? You know, I think because I'm in such an early stage of transition, it's like 90% of my life I spend working, 9% of my life I spend in doctor's offices, and 1% of my life I spend cuddling. And that's not enough cuddling. Basically, I've just had a whole bunch of issues. Nobody can fill my prescription right, and it's not difficult. Like, it literally says the exact size of the needles that I need, the exact measurement of syringe that I need, and the exact kind of testosterone that I need. There could be no confusion. And it even says how many months supply I need. And yet, somehow, in America, every single pharmacy has fucked it up for 3 months. So I keep having to go back to the doctor and be like, I need a new prescription. And because testosterone is a controlled substance, they can't just fax it over there. So I paid like $40 to overnight a prescription to Seattle so I could get the testosterone I need. I'm in New York. Why is it this hard? I know Emil's over there having a tough time getting on T. And so I don't want to complain too much because I'm on T. But just the amount of doctors I've had to see in order to do that, and I'm sure he can relate too, the amount of doctors that he has to see just to get the thing. Why? What bothers me the most about having to see doctors and like going through this process or whatever to get hormones or to get surgery or to get approved for surgery, is like, why is the decision in somebody else's hand? You know, like, these people obviously have like tons of education that I don't have, and so they are able to make decisions that I can't make. But it just, it doesn't feel like these people are lined up to help us arrive at a destination. It feels like these people are lined up to prevent us from getting there, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. It's very diminishing and kind of dehumanizing. It's just like, you can make your own choices. Like, get a letter from somebody else who says exactly what you said. I'll believe this person because they're a social worker, but I won't believe you because it's your own body. The whole thing about like, well, you need to go through the necessary steps because they want to make sure you're mentally sound and that you can make decisions for yourself. It's just like, when people ask, are you sure you're trans? It's like, ask a cis person, are you sure you're not trans? And they're just gonna be like, yeah, and then everyone's gonna believe them. Why do we have to prove ourselves to these people? I'm like so animated because I am on a second wind of energy. I'm just like 100% depleted, and somehow I'm running on, I don't even know what. What else? Okay, and then I guess, so that's my feeling about doctors. I mean, I'm lucky that I'm in a location where there are a lot of options and also a lot of knowledgeable doctors about trans things. Like, certain areas are better about that than others, and I'm in New York, and so I'm really, really fortunate to have a really, really solid medical team available. But even with that, like, don't always think the grass is greener on the other side, because there are problems in the systems here too. So it's not perfect. I haven't seen a gynecologist since I've been on T, but I did have to show the area to my doctor just because I was having pain in some parts and it was not feeling good, and I was a little concerned. So she looked at it, and I mean, honestly, it was like, the thing is, like, it couldn't have been a better situation. It's like, the person who's looking at me is trans, like, is knowledgeable about, like, there was nothing that could have made this situation like better in terms of comfort level, and yet I still wanted to die. I was just like, I want to die right now. I have a lot of issues. One of those is just like, I have a lot of anxiety and like around seeing doctors, and I tend, when I go, I tend to turn off, and they're just like shoveling all this information, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, and then I leave, and I'm like, I have no idea what anyone just said to me. I need to bring a notebook. This is what I'm learning about myself. I need to write notes beforehand. Like, I am going to ask the doctor this. Like, I have to write out literal sentences that I could just read out loud to the doctor. Like, I ran out of this and need a refill. Like, I can't remember these things when I'm in there because I'm too freaked out and stressed out. So I have to write it down. And then when they answer me, I also write down their answers. So then when I leave it, I'm like, what the fuck just happened? I can refer to my notes. It's not weird if you have to sit there with a notebook, or maybe it is, but you can still do it because who cares? The other thing you can do if you also get really stressed out seeing doctors is have a buddy. Bring a friend or somebody, just some kind of support who can be there, and like you can go over your questions with them first. So if you're sitting there and you're kind of frozen, which happens to me a lot, your friend can kind of like guide you and keep you on track. Like, hey, didn't you want to talk about this? Or like, did you want to ask about this? Or like, their ears are also listening. So it can be helpful to bring a person with you if you're someone in your life who would like to do that with you. So I know going to the doc, I really, it's one of my least favorite things to do. I recently had to get a trigger warning talking about the chest area. Okay, if you don't want to talk about the chest area, leave right now, because I don't want to stress anyone out or induce dysphoria on anyone. However, this has to do with the topic, so I'm going to talk about it. I had to get a mammogram. I'm basically set up to get surgery. The only thing I'm waiting for is approval from my insurance. So one of the things I had to do, you have to get blood work and like blah, 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 blah. So I had to get a mammogram. It was actually hilarious. Like, these are the moments that are really horrible when you're in them, and then looking back, it's just a really great story to tell. Like, I show up and I had no idea where I was. It was a massive medical complex, and I was like, oh, where's this doctor? And then the guy at the front desk was like, why do you need to go there? And I was like, that's a little invasive. I was just like, oh, my girlfriend or something. I don't have a girlfriend, like, whatever. But I was just like, yeah, I'm going to meet her or something. And then he told me where it was. It's like, why can't I have just said it was for me, you know? But I was like, whatever. I like don't have the energy to do this right now. I just need to get to this place. So I get to the place, and then I sit down, and I'm filling out this paperwork, and then this woman comes up to me, and she's like, oh, are you here for the interview? And I was like, oh my god. I was like, everybody's confused. And I was tempted to say yes, because I was like, hey, what's this job that maybe I could get right now? But, but I was so caught off guard. Sorry, I'm sick. I was so caught off guard that I just was like, no, no, I don't know. And then she was like, oh, sorry. And then she walked away. But it's just like, male privilege. It's like I look like a disheveled mess, and I'm just sitting in a chair with paperwork, and it suddenly looks like I'm, you know, a qualified candidate for some position, which was hilarious. And then I get called back, and then the person was like, why are you here? You're so young. Like, does it run in your family? I was like, yeah, I'm scheduled to get chest reconstructive surgery with Dr. Ting, who's also in this like medical group or whatever. And she was like, oh, I got you. And then she didn't ask any more questions. She knew what was going on. And when she was like handling me in this machine, it was just like awkward, because it's like it's just fucking weird. And she was just like, you know, don't she's like, it's weird for everybody. Like, it's just a weird thing. It's weird for every single person who does it. And I thought that was a really nice thing to say. Like, you think that you're really uncomfortable because you're trans, and someone's like holding a part of your body that shouldn't be there, and it's actually just weird because it's just weird. It's like a I don't think anybody thinks it's totally normal. It's like someone's just like handling you in this massive machine. It was weird. But I expected it to hurt a lot more, and it didn't really hurt. So, for me at least. So there's that I learned about it. But the way I look at it is like, it's just another it's another life experience. Like, how many dudes get to say that they did that, you know? And I did that, and I'll probably only have to do it once. So, I mean, whatever. I'm not too fussed about it. I think when you have this end goal in sight, it's like whatever hoops you have to jump through don't matter as much. They don't have to mean anything or symbolize anything. They're just hoops you have to jump through to arrive at a destination that is worth it all. I would like to hope, and I do hope. This is getting really long. I just have a lot to say about doctors and stuff. So yeah, if you have any questions, or I don't know, want to talk to me about stuff, you can totally do that. I always put my contact thingies down below in the description. So I'm gonna try to go to sleep. Wish me luck. And I hope I wake up and magically am able to breathe again. But you know, a boy can dream. Good night, good day, whatever it is. I never know anymore.